Hello everyone, my name is Matthias. I am a visual artist and graphic designer, but I also like to explore and investigate different subject matters in the fields of psychology, sociology, spirituality, linguistics, and philosophy. My camera isn't working well right now, so I'm making this video with audio only. Also take into account that since English is not my native language, there can be some grammar mistakes along my speech. For the last 10 years or so, I have been studying digital painting and drawing mostly on my own, in the hopes of becoming a full-time artist and being able to earn a living through it. Sadly, in the last years, I discovered the first AI quote-unquote portfolios on the internet, and I understood the potential business and commercial threat that this technology can represent for human visual artists, me being just one more of them. So the following are my spiritual and moral insights into the topic of AI quote-unquote immersions. AI art, quote-unquote, AI art immersions. In this particular video, I'm gonna talk about why I know AI art is dead art. I would like to contribute to other fellow artists and the general public with my personal insights into the abuse of technological power that artificial intelligence advocates are enforcing upon visual digital artists. I am not from the US, but I think it is obvious to remember that artists from all countries can become affected by the use of this AI technology, since we all use the internet for promotion purposes. I felt I needed to get this out of my head as a form of self-healing or self-therapy, just like many other artists. First of all, I would like to say that you don't have to agree with me on anything if you don't want to, but to me it is important that the voice of artists is heard to defend the craft itself and not so much the egos of artists. For this purpose, I want to critique a comment by an AI advocate that I found on a fellow artist's YouTube channel. This artist was also protesting against the AI quote-unquote artists and the creators of AI technology who are currently questioning the usefulness of human visual art in a disrespectful way, to say the least. I would like to show you all how nonsensical, even psychopathic, rude, and contradictory the following comment is, with all due respect to the dignity of the person who wrote the comment. My critique is then not of the individual itself, but of his attitude or the spirit behind his words. This person states, referring to copyrighted and non-copyrighted visual art found quote-unquote available on the internet. He says, if it's available freely on the internet, it's not stealing. You're just mad because you are a useless broke artist. You are not curing cancer. Get a grip and do something actually useful for society. So, translated into empathetic language, this person is saying the following. All the years that you have spent perfecting your skills, suffering, sacrificing, struggling, and working day and night are of no value to me because I wasn't the one doing it. And I have no moral issue in confessing it to you. Nor I have any moral issue in confessing that I am a shameless thief and that I pretend to defend the untenable. I am just mad because I don't enjoy the fact that you were enjoying what you have been doing, and that I am such an envious covert character who's not willing to recognize your hard work. I am complaining because I myself did not choose to be a doctor, and in my pride I dare to demand others with different professional callings to solve this health condition for me. Moreover, this person says that if a copyrighted image is available on the internet, that image is free. And I say copyrighted image because I think we all know by now that AI image generators feed both on non-copyrighted and copyrighted images alike, and copyrighted images by law are not free. This person is basically calling quote-unquote free something that is not free, meaning that he or she is purposely ignoring the well-known fact that if an artist needs to upload his artwork to the internet, that is solely for promotion and thus commercial purposes. And the same goes for photographers, graphic designers, and musicians. The AI robots are not caring for the business model of artists. They are ignoring the human visual talent with which images are made, a talent that they are rapid to steal, secretly taking advantage of the visual format. Stealing cannot have any justification. It is just wrong. Self-promotion is a vital need for artists and for any other type of professional on the internet. It makes no difference if the breaking of the copyright laws happens on the internet or in the offline world. The law doesn't nor shouldn't change just because we are dealing with digital media. And this vital and commercial self-promotion need of artists has been clearly taken advantage of and turned against them. So the fact that an artwork is uploaded to the internet, we all know, does not mean the author is allowing the use of it for a different purpose or by another person. At the same time, this person is well aware of the fact that the internet is the home of millions of businesses of all sorts, meaning commercial activity, and that there are only some assets that are put out there for free or that are in the public domain, but certainly not everything on the internet is meant to be free. The stance of AI art advocates is clearly an attack against visual artists, at least for now. Maybe in the near future, the AI technology sadly will target other type of professionals as well for extermination. What aggravates the initial groundless insults of this person toward artists, based on his chosen words at least, is that he speaks as if artists didn't know the law and their rights, or worse, as if they didn't have the right to reclaim their intellectual property. I am very sure that if anyone, artist or not, could ever steal the AI technology with which these big tech companies are able to generate their random collage, they would also feel betrayed and stolen. What this person is seemingly not willing to acknowledge is that copyright laws protect and recognize the author of an artwork whether they are selling it or not. It is a matter of respect. For instance, if a little girl creates a drawing of her family, that drawing is hers when she comes of age, and no one has the right to use it for commercial purposes without her permission. The law protects the creator from the moment they create something. If the original artist wants to give an artwork away, he or she does so because he or she wants to do it, not because someone forces them to give it away. If someone wants to use it for commercial purposes, then they must ask the author for permission, either that or destroying capitalism altogether, I would say, not to be hypocritical. So that tells me this person and the creators of the technology had the explicit intention to violate and mock the law. The next thing that this person says is that we, artists, are just mad about AI because, based on his perception at least, we are useless and broke. Let's continue reading to see if that is true. Next, he says that we artists are not curing cancer and that we should get a grip and do something actually useful for society. Well, I would say, apart from the very obvious lack of empathy for the feelings of the most sensitive, empathetic, and beautiful souls, meaning those of artists, the following contradiction shows up. On the one hand, this person is saying that artists are useless, but on the other, he is non-explicitly stating that there is indeed value to be found in all of the quote-unquote free imagery uploaded on the internet, or otherwise they would not be feeding their robots with the copyrighted images of digital artists. I understand that the AI quote-unquote artists are complaining about artists being broke and presenting this as a problem for society. So if this is clearly a problem for them, then what are the AI advocates doing for it to stop being a problem? What are they doing to support artists so that they stop being broke? As they say, nothing whatsoever, I believe. So they are basically complaining about an issue they are consciously contributing to perpetuate. The images on the internet have been the life's work and intellectual property of human artists since way before the invention of artificial intelligence, and the mere creation of this AI technology cannot modify this truth. So that is how it gets demonstrated, I believe, by semantic logic, that the argument of this person against the societal value of art contradicts itself and is therefore not morally nor essentially solid to be taken into account. He also says that artists are broke, or at least he assumes that much, at the same time that he is purposely willing to ignore the fact that if society at large is unwilling to pay artists, or to acknowledge the value and effort behind their work, then of course that artists will end up broke, because they need the financial support of the community to survive, just like any other sort of business. AI robots do not feel, they do not hurt, they do not cry, they do not suffer, they do not bleed, they do not get knocked down by life and get up again, but they are indeed robbing digital artists of those feats. If many decent and honest artists are broke, this is indeed because of the uncaring attitude of people like this toward our way of making an income. So I said it again. If some artists are indeed broke, that is not because they are not endeavoring themselves enough to be successful. It's because they face an uncaring, increasingly greedy, lazy and robotic society on the other end. For years now, I have been told by society at large how much they lawfully believe and enforce the saying, you only get what you work for, nothing more, nothing less. However, the contradictory comment of this person is essentially saying that visual art has no value, nor the work behind it. But at the same time, he is willing to use it commercially, thus violating hypocritically that good old saying. So it stands to reason that if this person was indeed seeing no value in those copyrighted images, then he wouldn't be using them for anything whatsoever, because they are deemed as worthless, right? And there's the contradiction. And that is why my rationality as an artist cannot take this individual's comment seriously. He also says that we artists are not curing cancer. So I understand this person wanted artists to be doctors, perhaps, or to be doctors, not perhaps. He wanted artists. He's saying that he wanted artists to be doctors or to follow a different calling, like choosing the healthcare profession instead, as if to have a different calling was some sort of a premeditated offense. So in my eyes, at least, that is all he's saying. Nothing more, nothing less. I say that no one chooses a calling more likely. No one chooses a calling, more likely he chooses you, as long as you are being honest with yourself. I am a man of good values, and among those values is self-honesty and authenticity, in the sense that I feel it is my sole responsibility to answer my particular professional calling. So I can put to good use the natural talents that I receive from the Creator. Such is my belief. In fact, this truth, it is written in the parable of the talents in the Bible, where it is taught to us that each individual is expected to use their unique talents in the service of the Creator. The artistic talent is simply just one more type of talent among others. Now, the AI image generators are putting the exercise of the artistic talent of digital artists and graphic designers in jeopardy. Actually, the only quote-unquote value that AI art generators can have, it is thanks to the human artistic talent of the past and present to make great visual art. Therefore, it is clear to me that the attitude of those who advocate the AI quote-unquote art has no root in respect, democracy, law, morality, and semantic coherence. Again, why is then that big tech companies want to use copyrighted digital art for their own projects and ambitions if artists, like they say, have no value to contribute to society? I invite those people to reflect on that question. Art is an spiritual endeavor, and it reflects the most authentic and accurate expression of one's soul. And we humans are the original talent, not machines. AI machines can never replace the human spirit, nor its soulful essence, nor its inner poetry. Neither can they be a source of spiritual expression, because robots obviously have no heart, no spirit of their own. So they can only try to seize and mimic what rightfully belongs to humans and to the creator of all who gave us our talents. I strongly believe that one of the possible reasons why society at large has no issue in effortlessly dismissing that what makes us the most human, spiritual, and transcendental on the deepest level is because of the previous toxic, evil cultural training they have been historically subjected to in trying to make themselves akin to gods, just like AI today is trying to assist them in quote-unquote becoming so. The mindset of AI advocates seems to be as follows. Because I have this money, I can create whatever I want, I can do whatever I want with it, regardless if I hurt others, because I believe I am like a god, basically, shamelessly. If this does not resemble psychopathic thinking, I don't know what does. It is as if all of the spiritually empty system. It is as if all of this spiritually empty system of global wealth had been created to make fun of hardworking people, in the sense that we were given technological tools to create and express ourselves, and now we are being threatened and dismissed we are being threatened and dismissed by these very tools. There is a clear lack of respect toward our hard work and years spent in honing our skills. Art is not a heartless, randomly made, copy-paste artificial collage. It is meant to be the expression of a talent rooted in our inner truth as people, a talent that comes directly from the divine to express its glory through the artists, who has no other purpose than to honor the beauty of creation with his work. That is my belief. As a bonus, I think it is very important to say that not all forms of art in our culture, or in any society's culture, including the visual genre, reflect the attributes of a Holy Spirit. Plus, art has also an educational power and effect on the masses. It shows us how we are living our lives. It is an instrument of communication with society. I personally believe that an evil spirit of the seed is basically expressing itself through the violent imposition of digital death as pertaining to AI visual content. I believe the technological advancements in artificial intelligence we are currently seeing are only the tip of the iceberg of what is to come, and that is precisely what worries me. Because it could get far beyond the replacement of many professions done currently by humans. It could establish itself as a form of technological cult, actually. We could foresee a future where indeed science fiction and AI will try to become the reality of everyday life and will permeate each aspect of human life, including the healthcare system. And this last one is especially scary to me because I sense that the ultimate goal of AI will be to try to make the human body immortal here on Earth, and precisely this kind of extreme endeavor would be revealing and confirming the very tempting underlying intention of being like gods on Earth. And this is human-made, which, by the way, we believers know was the same intention of the spirit of evil in the Bible, namely to be like God, or to be like a god, a supernatural entity. You know, I did not become a believer in an almighty God of love just by early education, but mainly by faith. But mainly my faith was reinforced and confirmed by the law of opposites, basically showing the presence and the existence of evil spirits in the world. Indeed, bad spirits are well represented in the facts of history and in the shameless actions of humankind. So I believe I have demonstrated that this AI quote-unquote art advocate makes absolutely no sense in his arguments against artists' copyright claims. By far, what worries me the most is not the technological advancements themselves. It is the kind of behavior and the kind of spirit that the pursuit of these excessive ambitions induce in people and in the world at large. That is what I believe. That is what I believe. That is why I believe we should always remain aware of how excessive ambition can have the potential to transform people into robotic monsters without moral values and empathy for others. In this case, for the business of others. I am not against technology itself or technology in general, but I am against the way it is currently being used, namely against established and non-established artists, visual artists, meaning artists that are still studying, maybe at a university or on their own, like it is my case, or others that are improving, others who are improving their skills. For instance, I have nothing against using a video software I have nothing against using a video editing software assisted by AI like CapCut, for instance, to help me create videos for YouTube in a more rapid way, because I understand this works as a true aid to content creators. Likewise, the Photoshop eyedropper tool, for instance, it is a genuine tool understood as such by artists using Photoshop to create finished artwork or a finished product. We use the eyedropper and other tools from the digital toolbox to create a finished piece, in the same way that a hammer is used by a construction worker to create a house, for instance. In such case, no robot is making the house and putting the income of the construction worker in jeopardy. I then ask myself, why visual art has to be different? It is clear to me that AI technology is aimed at destroying the workforce, plain and simple. It is my perception that the advocates of this AI technology promote the dangerous mindset of being willing to walk over anybody who would stand in their way. And this is, as I said, no surprise to me. It is, as I said, no surprise to me that AI advocates are attacking particularly the businesses of artists, since artists have been historically the voice of moral consciousness, social education, emotional communication, and spiritual awareness. It takes a huge intellectual talent to being able to translate emotions and complex thoughts into visual images, and that ability has indeed an intrinsic value. Visual art has also a healing power and effect on people and on physical illness. The comment of this AI advocate pretends to be ignorant of the fact that serious illnesses like cancer can actually originate from emotional and psychological stress, which the healing power of art making can help diminish. Besides, I bet he knows perfectly well that curing cancer could not be a sustainable business model for the business of medicine, for it could not benefit anymore from public health scarcity as it does now. So in bringing up the theme of healthcare as a worry, this person should take into account that no one benefits from a contradictory healthcare system or a contradictory monetary system, a contradiction that comes not from artists actually, but from the core of the capitalistic doctrine itself. In fact, that was one of the main reasons why I started drawing, because to me it was like a healing meditation of visual nature, which always produced a positive psychological reaction in my body, thus avoiding any likelihood of developing a mental or physical illness. Do you see now how we could all benefit from art making in terms of well-being? Starting with artists, with a creator of an artwork. That is also why medical professionals often use art therapy as one of their methods of mental healing in their practices. For instance, psychologists. So I think for these reasons, these persons complain of visual art not contributing whatsoever to human health. It's just wrong. But what worries me the most is the explicit disregard with which these people dismiss artists' feelings, because feelings have their home in our heart, and the heart is actually the most vital organ that we have. It is certainly the place from where all life emanates, as the very Bible states. The heart is the most important thing we have, and thus is extremely important to guard our feelings, not keeping feelings of hate in our biology, as well as not hurting others people's feelings, because the heart itself becomes directly affected as a result. It is clear to me that these AI advocates who want to abuse the technology by infringing the law just because they have enough money to do so are not being respectful of the well-being of the hearts of artists, neither of their own hearts, which, based on the way they think, I would say are already hardened. In my case, I can tell you it took me about 8 years of my life to master drawing and painting, and I am still learning, because you never stop learning. And during that time, I had to go through extreme hardships and I had to make a lot of personal and financial sacrifices to be able to perfect my skills. Not only only to now feel fully betrayed in my efforts by this AI technology or by AI art. During that time of artistic journey, prior to AI inception, I never thought that something like AI needed to be created to help me with my work. The thought of this feels as an imposition, plain and simple, a forcible imposition. The thought of needing AI to make art never crossed my mind during all those years of study. Therefore, I can conclude AI was always meant to have a different purpose, and that is not the innocent, non-lucrative intention of just helping artists, quote-unquote helping artists. AI, quote-unquote art, cannot be considered therefore just a tool made for helping artists with their artistic processes or with their creative processes, because what it clearly produces is a fully finished visual product that is capable at first glance to rival any trained artist's skill set out there. It is clearly being designed to eventually eliminate the need to pay for the artistic process, which encompasses approximately the 80% of an artist's working efforts. I also want to call your attention to the fact that AI art advocates seem to be thinking that artists are like, I would say, naive fools, just like any psychopath would, by not asking for permission and inviting themselves to steal. I mean, what did you expect the reaction of digital artists was going to be by covertly introducing AI art on the internet? They knew that they were doing. I believe they knew that they exactly what they were doing all of the time, and they did not care. They don't care about saying this to your face if you're an artist watching. So all of this, I believe, are psychopathic traits. In case you didn't know, the problem is psychopathy is normalized. Is widely normalized, unfortunately, already in human societies, and that is why the general public may not care about your business if you're an artist watching that much and go with the flow of technological advancements. I tell these people that if digital art is so useless as they say it is, that then you should stop using it for a profit, at least for making sense, for even making sense of your complaints or of their complaints. It is fair to say that if everyone can get digital art for free, then artists should also get medical care, for instance, or food or groceries for free. We all have the same rights and dignity, after all, whether the market likes it or not. And if the government authorities were to be of the stand of consciously denying artists justice and recognition for the type of work that they do, it's not because our work has no value. It is only because they are being disrespectful. So that is my opinion, and I want to tell other artists, if you're watching, that the fact that some people don't have the capacity, or if you are studying art on your own, that the fact that some people don't have the capacity or the willingness to appreciate your visual creations, that doesn't mean that your visual creations have no value. I am very worried that AI sponsors, advocates, and believers, most of whom are atheists, most likely, or are most likely atheists, will eventually cross all moral lines, and the technology will end up turning its back to the people, and it will become it probably will become the other replacement of human labor. I can foresee that one of the possible negative outcomes that this social change will bring about is the decrease in human intelligence, or IQ, that can come precisely from the assistance of the AI, and therefore from a less perceived need by humans to think by themselves, or to think by ourselves. I can foresee that it could deprive our brain of the mental workout that it needs to remain fully functional and fully healthy. If this is taken to an extreme. If this help, quote unquote help from the AI is taken to an extreme, it is true that AI can have the potential to alleviate humans from certain repetitive tasks in their workplace, as their advocates say, but I think it is crucial that we as humans, artists, artisans, and workers of all fields remain vigilant of the possibility of big tech abuse, an abuse that can easily be perpetuated by the greater wealth and thus political pressure that these people have, with money being the only quote-unquote regulatory authority in human societies. True art is an expression of the spirit, of the human spirit, and only living things, not robots or machines, have one. We humans are the original talent, not the robots. A true art is not a copy-paste, heartless, artificial collage, as I said before. It is the expression of someone's spirit, sincerity, taste, authenticity, which are all inherent attributes that belong to humans alone. To me, at least, it isn't difficult to feel that AI technology seeks to attack and hurt the spirituality of humanity at large. And even if this is not intentional, there could be a negative consequence nonetheless in spiritual terms. I would like to ask everybody who is still willing to respect art and artists in general, people who respect the craft, who is willing to respect the craft, that you help us protect our work and our businesses, because for many artists, this is also the way they bring food to their families. And so most importantly, help us protect our spiritual self-expression from being distorted by a heartless machine, thus bringing more and more coldness, I would say, to an already psychopathic and narcissistic society. If you are studying to become an artist, don't pay attention to what the so-called AI quote-unquote artists are doing. That is my advice, because they will drain your self-esteem and thus motivation. I am not saying all of this to be a hater of technology per se, but simply to make people aware of possible negative repercussions. I think that simply calling things by their name is not an offense in itself, because deaf is deaf. I have made mistakes myself in the past. Out of financial desperation and fear. I recognize that out of ignorance as well, out of scarcity. So I would say my moral conduct wasn't always perfect, meaning I watched art educational content as was available on the internet, for example, but I have never had the intention to destroy the entire business of art itself by doing so, not to exterminate the profession completely, as we today know it. So there's a difference. There is a difference there. Because AI art actually has the potential to do so. It has the potential to destroy the industry as we know it. I respect artists, and I respect actually only human ones, not robots. What I did was what I did about learning the fundamentals of. So this thing I did in the past of watching of downloading content from the internet to help my skills, to learn from this content. It wasn't right. I know it wasn't right, but I did it to produce my own art, to make my own effort. I recognized that was wrong anyways. So I am telling you all this because I don't want to be perceived as a person who hasn't made mistakes, but because I have made mistakes, but my intention was I had other intention in mind actually. It was only for educational purposes. It was wrong anyways. But I'm not doing it anymore, just for you to know. I also say this because I don't want to be a hypocrite. So if I said that I haven't watched, content, educational art content available on the internet, I would be lying to you. So I don't want to be hypocritical. But this is hurting. This has the potential to change the the creative process itself. and to affect the industry and the business of art directly. I also thought that just because something was uploaded to the internet, that it was okay for me to download it, just because I wasn't the one who uploaded it to these pages where people upload content in the first place. So I thought that just because I wasn't the one uploaded it in the first place, I thought to myself that that I would make my actions more acceptable somehow from the moral standpoint. So I cannot judge to condemn, because that would be, well, I mean, at least in my case, that would be hypocritical. But I believe a true artist is an expert in interpreting and conveying the language of the heart. And it is by this understanding that I can notice that a person who implies that what an artist does not serve people at all, isn't willing to see that artists are also part of the people, and that certainly the very fact of undergoing a creative process results in an emotional benefit for the artist thanks to a sense of personal satisfaction that comes from seeing the fruit to a huge amount of work. So our creation certainly serves the mental and emotional well-being of the artist itself, for starters. So it's not worthless. It is serving somebody. We are all different beings, and it can certainly serve other people, because other people can be appreciative of art. Visual art has a long history. It shouldn't change. So things shouldn't change just because the emergence of this technology. We are all different beings, despite being all human beings. I am aware that not all people value the same things. Yet that should not be an excuse to disrespect the human effort put into a digital art career by shamelessly stealing parts of copyrighted artwork, so you can avoid paying a human to do the work, or to avoid doing the learning necessary to do it by yourself if you want to be an artist, if you want to be able to do it yourself. So that is why I think AI art advocates cannot state that digital art does not serve people, because artists are also people, and they have clients, and they have been having clients all this time. So it was absolutely wrong, again, what I did about learning from people, from other people's content, even though it wasn't my intention to to steal from anybody. But yeah, I was aware that even though I wasn't the one uploading the content, what I did was wrong. So again, I apologize for that. I don't want to be an hypocrite myself, so that is why I'm kind of confessing what I did wrong in the past, at the same time that I am seeking justice now for the artists being affected by AI death. On the other hand, I think we can all agree that if one person who isn't 100% perfect would have to wait until his behavior is absolutely immaculate to make a judgment of the conduct of others for the good of all, or to better the world, so to speak, then no one would think of themselves as able enough to do so, because we all make mistakes, and as a result, no beneficial constructive insights would ever enter the public awareness. So again, I don't say this to feel superior to anyone. I say it in honor of in respect of the love and truth itself as values. I also believe, even though I didn't act perfectly in the past, there are people who are closer to be perfect in their way of being. Luckily, closer to have a spirit of honesty. People who have good values in general, rooted in love, and I think we should all follow those examples of good people instead of good behavior, instead of blindlessly submitting to the trends imposed by technology. I have made this video not only for my own good, but as an artist or as a, aspiring full-time artist, but also so that no one puts the creative process itself of visual digital art in jeopardy. I think that should survive because it is indeed a source of happiness, and it has a healing potential as well for its creator, regardless if you are doing it for a profit or not. I think that even though I didn't have a perfect behavior in the past toward the business of art myself, that doesn't impede that other people who are into art or who are studying visual art and looking at it as a business cannot benefit from these insights, from my insights into the whole theme of AI art. And that is the reason why I'm saying all of this, namely just to honor the truth, the good moral values, and the profession itself. I believe that in the moral judgment of AI, I think one must consider the rights of everyone, not just the rights of their creators. I mean, the creators of these image generators. I think the embracing of AI by the current political technocracy, it is being introduced to us artists and not as a free choice, and I see that there lies an unmistakable anti-democratic thinking, alongside with the fact of purposely ignoring that we artists have been authentically enjoying the type of work we love to do. And I think that no one has the right to rob us from our efforts and the chosen source of income. To rob us from our efforts and from our chosen source of income, or to behave in a way that doesn't even take into account that we existed. It is my perception that there is sadly a cold-hearted attitude coming from the technocrats out there with disregard of laws, moral values, and mutual respect. I believe that the fact someone has money to advertise whatever they want does not give them the right to walk over democracy and violate others' rights. Again, even though the victims in this case are not perfect people, like myself. Therefore, AI quote-unquote art represents nothing more than an illegal leverage of the internet imposed by the mere financial pressure of wealthy people devoid of morals. Comments like this one of that AI advocate could also be an expression of envy toward the artistic profession itself from people who hate their jobs, actually. In secret, they might be feeling bad because deep down, they cannot stand that visual artists are able to enjoy what they do, because their passion is sincere, and it is not merely we are not going merely after money alone. And if this is the case, I suggest them to simply put in the work that's required to learn how to draw and paint like a professional, just like everybody else had to do. Who is into art, instead of stealing our years of effort, because that is exactly literally what they are doing, stealing our talent, our blood, sweat, tears in a matter of seconds, because it takes seconds for these image generators like Midjourney to create, a quote unquote piece of art. So to wrap this up, I think it is truthful to say that even if this AI advocate and an artist hater, I would say, because it reads in his words, hate reads in his words, is able to find it. Even if he is able to find a doctor to cure his cancer, I don't know if he has cancer, but I mean, even if he is able, if society is able to find a doctor to cure cancer, I mean, surely this beloved physician won't be able to help him in curing his evil heart, because these are words of hate. I think the only way AI technology could be useful in a respectful and lawful way is by remaining just an aid to digital creatives. Like in the case of this video editing software CapCut, that is assisted by AI technology, but in the context of the software, one can clearly understand when one is using a tool instead of the tool taking over his work. So that is how I think the AI technology could be used in a respectful and lawful way, by remaining just a tool, but never serving as a total replacement of the creators, of artists, which is exactly what is happening now at some levels. So lately, I have also already seen Google advertisements and internet AI apps offering, I mean, in the Google search engine, search results, Google has shown already that people are creating sites which offer the inexpert general public a way to create their own logos using AI technology, thus putting in jeopardy the labor specialization model of, in this case, graphic designers, because they are offering the inexpert user or the general public a free way to create their own logos for their companies or their startups or their projects. And this has the potential. This is attacking directly the business model of graphic designers. So they are also targeting graphic designers for extermination. And I think that is why they are offering this technology for free in the beginning, to serve as a hook, to serve as a commercial hook, because they obviously, we can conclude that their plans are to their plan is to be able to profit from this technology in the future. But first, I believe they have to hook people. So whether they say they have this intention or not, this is what this technology has the potential to do in the practical sense. Remember that if you find yourself having to explain to someone like an AI advocate, for example, over and over again about basic ethical norms, there is a great chance you are dealing with a psychopath or a pathological narcissist, actually, since this is the one of the most well-known red flags, according to trauma experts, to properly identify one. As a final comment, I would like to advise fellow artists and graphic designers not to pay too much attention to, as I said before, to what these AI quote-unquote artists are doing, Because if you don't have a heart of a stone, as I know you probably don't if you're an artist like me, it can rightfully hurt your most inner feelings regarding your art passion or your passion for art, especially if you are very sensitive. So that would be my advice in response to this AI art emergence. So keep doing what you love and keep serving as inspiration to other artists. Remember that the only reason why these wealthy AI companies, tech companies, can get away with the treason and treason of the hearts of other hearts, because that is what is happening. If they can get away with treason, with emotional treason and death and commercial death, is because they just have money to do so. Not because they are worthy, not because what they are doing is worthy of your respect. I feel that it is spiritually and morally wrong to collectively force ourselves to concentrate our sense of evolution only in the realm of technology, because people need to evolve spiritually first and foremost, and morally first and foremost, and they have to remain evolved in that sense. And this is the most important, not the technological advancement, because being happy in the end, and this is a philosophical bonus, is something that happens in our heart, actually. Therefore, our sense of happiness is not something essentially tied to being technologically advanced. Ultimately, AI quote-unquote artists end up inevitably seeing a piece of art as a mere object with no soul, an object to be sold, and that is it. And this endeavor will end up being in resonance with a progressive killing of the soul in society. I believe it will contribute to further the spiritual neglect. Ultimately, if you are a fellow artist or who is wanting to start an art career, or if you are like me who is still developing his skills, I would like to tell you that there will always be someone who cares about your art, and that is you. That has to be you. That is your inner child, and that is me as well. And perhaps that is enough. Even if this AI technology takes over our work, because if you are like me, you didn't start you didn't start to draw and paint for the sake of merely earning a living, because these are spiritual callings actually before they become businesses. So even if AI tech companies get away with stealing and messing up your art business, you can still make art just because you enjoy it. Just because, and I am exaggerating a bit into the future here as I'm saying this, but perhaps or perhaps not, we will see. But just because art brings you peace, it brings you mental healing and emotional satisfaction. On the other hand, people stealing others' soul and life's work, you can rest assured that they are already dead in their material pursuits and technological abuses. So you don't even need to kill them, or to worry about them, or to worry about punishing them in the spiritual sense. I believe their own AI technology will take care of them for you. So if you are hoping for any kind of spiritual retribution for what they are doing. Also, because of the competitive nature of businesses in general, with professional artists being no exception, I believe the most experienced digital artists won't have much incentives, or won't feel much incentives to defend the aspiring artists, the artists who aspire to be professional, because they are not in the same boat as you, if you are still learning, they are not on the same boat. They are already established artists. So that is something that I think established artists should also consider from an empathetic point of view. how they if they decide to adopt this technology without caring for you who are still studying. However, part of their income, I believe it depends on the aspiring artists' willingness to pay for their educational material, because educational material is a well-known a commercial vein for established artists to make a passive income. So even the pro artists out there I believe will be affected to some degree financially if amateur level artists are discouraged enough from continuing the pursuit of their artistic education and goals in the face of AI art omnipotence out there. For all the reasons stated in this video, we artists can easily conclude that AI artists and the creators of the technology have clearly chosen a shortcut to artistic success, so they can be successful without paying the price for it. If we were studying to become a visual artist, if someone was studying to become a digital artist, you want to fight. I think we want to fight against AI art theft. I think the best you can do is not using this technology neither for inspiration nor as a final product to create art for sale, because this will help discourage the fake artists and expose their lack of effort, empty greediness and laziness. Ironically, whilst AI technology advocates pretend to make us believe that art making does not do anything useful for society, in actuality, the usefulness of art making is that it is a form of meditation in itself, and thus it benefits the functioning of the brain directly. That is why it is a lie to call it useless. I want seriously to call your attention to the fact that this move of big tech companies against artists, visual artists, has the traits of a violent technological dictatorship, and this in itself should be alarming enough for us all. I cannot stop this. I obviously cannot stop, these tech companies with legal means, because first off, I don't live, as I said, in the US. So I think it will all come down to how respectful people would be willing to be toward the work of artists, the general public, I mean. Because like the AI quote-unquote art advocates say, these people think they are like gods on earth, because they have all this technological advancement at their disposal. They think of themselves as gods, and I've seen comments where they are saying this themselves shamelessly. So to conclude this discussion, I want to say that this move of tech companies and the use of their image generators is a disrespectful, emotionally disturbing, unwanted and coercive move that is being shamelessly pushed against professional artists, compromising the beauty of the creative process itself. So I will stop there, and that is all I had to say about this topic. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in another video. Take care.